How do you move forward without your lead actor? What do you do when your main protagonist is no longer part of the story as originally scripted? What do you do with your screenplay? How do you alter it and tell a great story and still make all the supporting characters step up into a larger role? This is a situation that everyone from the cast and crew of Black Panther Wakanda Forever has found themselves in. And this movie has allowed them to really mourn and grieve the loss of Chadwick Boseman, whose death from colon cancer just before the end of August 2020 was shocking, and it still remains upsetting at that time. It's still unexpected for someone who was 43 years old. And this is exactly what everyone has found themselves in. So a movie like Wakanda Forever is forced to move on without their king, who everyone loved and really respected. Someone like him, not just on screen but off screen, really resonated the character of T'Challa. And that's exactly what happened. Which is why I think the prologue scene in the movie was really strong and emotional in a way. It allowed the characters to find a way to really just honor him, and like in a sort of Wakanda traditional funeral for T'Challa. But really, this is more about Chadwick Boseman in this scene. And you could tell for the cast members, especially you think that the characters are really mourning him, but it's the actual actors and actresses that really mourn him, miss him dearly, and all that. But this is where, after all that, due to what happened at the end of the first Black Panther film in 2018, when there were promises of sharing their vibranium technology, tension is already seen by the time the actual film opens from the prologue scene, as many nations question Wakanda's initial promise of sharing vibranium. But with Queen Ramonda now back in charge, along with Princess Shuri, tensions are raised, and there are even threats of a war between US and Wakanda and so not and all that. But because of the vibranium revelation and exposure, it does bring another kingdom down under the sea all of a sudden in threat. And this is where characters like Namor becomes the main antagonist of his fictional nation of Talokan, which is kind of interesting. And this is another great villain. Again, I want to say that Ryan Coogler, who made Killmonger, a great villain from the 2018 film, once again made another compelling villain with Namor in this one, in Wakanda Forever. So I thought that was really great. And I love how, a threat rises between two nations, and the technology that they both really need to survive, exceed, and so forth really puts them in conflict. And there's a lot of pressure just to one of them be hiding, one of them protecting. It's kind of like a political situation that turns violent in some ways. It was actually great for me to see Namor on the big screen for the first time. Due to licensing issues that was in doubt in the past. Just keep in mind when it comes to the origins of his story, I thought it was well explained in the film. But it's different from what was originally written in the comic books. It's just a bit different on purpose, but I'm really fine how it's well depicted in the films as well. I thought it was really good. With the actor really using his Mexican background as if it's like a personal story, personal journey for him. So I thought that was great. And yeah, because of no longer having the king, this forces Shuri and Okoye, who were great supporting characters in the first film, to really step up and have larger roles at this one. And even a great arc was given to Queen Ramonda, as I mentioned earlier. She really gave strong emotional performances, especially somewhere in the second act. And I love how she was a great guidance for her daughter Shuri as well in this film. Also, another great character that came back was Nakia. Now, played by Lupita Nyong'o. She was great and all that. No offense or anything, but I just wasn't sure initially what her presence would mean in this film. has someone like her who had a close connection to T'Challa and explained her absence. And more of her absence is revealed just towards the end that I won't spoil. But again, in this movie for Wakanda Forever, a great ally, a great support system, really wise as well. I really liked Lupita Nyong'o's portrayal in this movie. And so this sort of movie was in a lot of ways about protecting T'Challa's legacy, and I thought they did really well here. And once again, like just like before, this film was just visually amazing. Like again, great visual effects despite the behind the scenes drama going on there, but very colorful. Like a lot to see here. Like I mean, despite the Phase 4 era just being somewhat underwhelming, this was really one of the better films and that era of this era as well. You know? And so with characters like Namor having a reason for vengeance, he's sort of a sympathetic villain this way. And when I think about it, his motives are somewhat similar to a Killmonger. Both of them have vengeance in common. And they have their own personal reasons. So it just makes them understandable. I really like how Shuri and Namor kind of found common ground with each other, with him kind of explaining who he is, what his reasons are, just giving more layers to the character himself and how they have similar paths. So this is just something that I really like, and just trying to push their kingdoms, find Wakanda and Tenoch for peace, prosperity going forward. This is something that I thought that was great. And despite all the action, it does come to a resolution as well. So who's the character that really drives the plot forward? I would say, well, it's actually Riri Williams who were introduced to this film. She was really more as a plot device because of someone so young and really so intelligent with her device using some kind of technology to like detect vibranium, which really has caused indirectly a war between both nations as well. I do think, in my opinion, her presence in this film was purposely used just as like a precursor to her Disney Plus series Ironheart coming next year as well. But yeah, despite everything, I still think the film lifts itself up despite the painful loss. And I really like how not just the beginning and the end, like the film, beautifully pays tribute to Chadwick Boseman. I really like the cinematography as well throughout the action sequences in the second act, and especially when they go on seeing the third act. And I really respect the character growth of someone like Shuri, who has every reason to go for vengeance, be bloodthirsty and angry. She made the wiser decision. She made herself look as wise, not just her mother, but also her brother as well, and really honored their legacies as well. I just think she did a great job here. And it's great that at the end there was no character villain death sort of thing. Sorry if there are minor spoilers, but I just think those moments are just important to mention as well. So I just think when talking about the Phase 4 era itself for this movie, probably the best or even the second best, I still hold No Way Home in high regard. But again, like I said before, like Phase 4 MCU era, a bit lackluster. Or maybe it's the TV series that's like a bit of a mixed results. Not all the TV series has been bad, but again, looking at this movie as a whole, it's just amazing, especially the cinematography, the emotional depths of the characters. I just thought it was really great. It's still worth a second watch if it's still in cinema. If you saw it once, go watch it again. I just think it's still really great. If you haven't seen it before, I really do encourage it. And the funny thing is that it's already made more money than Black Adam throughout its theatrical run. How ironic is that? But that's still pretty cool nonetheless. So yeah, please go watch Black Panther Wakanda Forever. In a lot of ways, it does pay tribute to Chadwick Boseman very well and very tastefully. It does a tasteful tribute in the end as well to him.